There are stories buried in stone, and some of them only surface after fire, deep beneath the crust of the earth, where molten rivers flow and pressure builds like the breath of a sleeping giant. Crystals are born, but every once in a while, the earth doesn't just whisper, it roars. And in that explosive moment, it reveals secrets it has been hiding for centuries. This is the story of such a moment, when a violent volcanic eruption did more than reshape the land. It gave birth to golden ball crystals, blooming like treasure from broken stone. And it all began with a dig, one that was never supposed to happen. The journey started in a forgotten stretch of volcanic wasteland, where the ground was still cracked from an eruption that had rocked the region a decade ago. The mountain had since quieted, but the scars remained blackened rock, ash-choked valleys, and forests that never grew back. Few dared to go near the site. Most believed it cursed, still dangerous, unstable. But to those who understand the language of stone, it was a promise waiting to be fulfilled. I was part of a small team, self-named Diamond Diggers, not because we were hunting literal diamonds, but because we chased rare formations in places no one else would dare to look. We had heard the rumors. After the eruption, local shepherds claimed to see golden orbs forming on rocks, especially after rain. Some said they were alien. Others called them sunstones. But no one had been close enough to study them, and no images existed. Curiosity turned into obsession. With nothing but worn maps, gear packs, and a stubborn sense of wonder, we set out into the hardened lava field. The air smelled faintly of sulfur, and the ground crunched beneath our boots. It was a world frozen in chaos. Twisted trees, scorched boulders, steam vents breathing low and slow like resting dragons. We hiked for hours before we saw the first glint. It was subtle at first, a flicker in the corner of the eye, like sunlight catching a glass bead. Then another, and another. Nestled into a crevice in the stone wall were clusters of golden spheres, no bigger than grapes, perfectly round, shimmering with an internal light. They didn't look like anything we had ever seen in nature. Not quartz, not pyrite, not mica. These were something new, something the volcano had created during its most violent exhale. We stood in silence, the weight of the moment anchoring our feet to the earth. One of our team members, an experienced geologist, touched the surface of one orb with a gloved hand. It was warm, not hot, but warm, like it held on to the memory of fire. The texture was smooth but had a strange softness, like glass that hadn't fully cooled. He gently twisted one from the stone and held it up to the sun. Inside the orb, filaments danced, golden veins that pulsed like threads of lightning trapped in amber. We began cataloging and documenting. The orbs were not embedded randomly. They grew in clusters, often follow the shape of cooling fractures in basalt. In some places, the clusters looked like grapes, clinging to stone in symmetrical formations. In others, they stood alone, like single golden eyes staring from the cracks in the mountain. The deeper we climbed into the flow path of the lava, the more intense the findings became. Some formations were half buried in obsidian flows, black glass meeting golden spheres in an otherworldly contrast. One boulder, split cleanly in half by some seismic force, revealed an entire geode-like cavity filled with the orbs. They were glowing from within, as if the eruption had not ended but remained trapped inside the stone. We camped near the base of the crater that night. Around the fire, no one spoke much. The weight of discovery was heavy on us. Not because we were afraid, but because we knew this wasn't just about minerals. These formations challenged our understanding of how crystals grow. Traditional crystal growth takes centuries, shaped by slow chemical interaction. But these, they had grown rapidly, as if the explosion had birthed them fully formed, impossibly fast, impossibly perfect. At dawn, mist hung over the lava field. We hiked to a ridge overlooking a canyon carved by the last lava flow. As the mist lifted, the sunlight struck the canyon wall, and it lit up. Hundreds, possibly thousands, of golden orbs dotted the face of the cliff. They glimmered like a field of stars trapped in stone. It was overwhelming. It felt like standing at the gates of a mineral cathedral, where every surface was a stained glass window. We approached carefully. The cliff wall was brittle, still unstable, but the formations were unlike anything yet found. Here, some orbs had formed into chains, connected by thin, translucent tubes. Others had grown inside old tree molds, preserved by the lava. One such orb had formed inside the hollow trunk of a pine tree that had been fossilized in place, now broken open like a stone coffin revealing treasure. I picked one up. This one was different, slightly cracked, with jagged lines running through it. When held alight, it refracted the rays into sharp beams, like a prism. Something inside sparkled. I tapped it gently, and the sound it made was like a bell underwater, soft, clear, haunting. Our geologist was the first to suggest it. Perhaps these weren't just crystals. Perhaps the intense heat, pressure, and unique chemical conditions during the eruption had created a new mineral form, one not yet recorded, born only in the womb of catastrophe. He called them solar marbles. But the team favored the local term, volcanoes tears. Despite the beauty, there was an unsettling energy to the place. We began to notice that electronic devices acted strangely. Compasses spun, batteries drained. One team member's watch stopped entirely when he held a cluster of orbs for too long. And at night, under the stars, some claimed the crystals faintly glowed. Not from external light, but from within. We stayed for 5 days. Each day revealed something new. A fossilized lava tube lined with golden beads. A rock slide that unveiled a hidden vein of agate intermixed with these strange spheres. We documented everything. Took samples. Made casts. But in truth, none of us wanted to leave. It felt like standing inside the Earth's secret gallery, an exhibition not meant for mankind. Eventually, storms rolled in. The volcano remained quiet, but the atmosphere turned. Heavy clouds gathered. Winds howled through the valley like warnings. We packed up slowly, reluctant. Each step away from the crystals felt like a betrayal. But nature had opened her vault, and we had seen enough to know it would close again. Back at the research center, the analysis began. Spectrography, mineral composition, density readings, all returned strange data. The orbs had a silica base, but were fused with trace elements of gold, sulfur, and even rare earth metals in microscopic quantities. Their molecular structure didn't match any known mineral. They were partially crystalline, partially amorphous. Something in between, something new. The scientific community reacted with skepticism, but the visuals, the footage, the images, the readings could not be denied. Geology Journal began using the term post-eruptive crystallization phenomena, but to us, they would always be the golden ball crystals, born of fire, kissed by sunlight, and hidden in stone. Today, the location remained secret, not out of greed, but out of respect. We left markers for future study, but we didn't strip the land. Nature had created a masterpiece in the aftermath of violence. To turn it into a mine would be sacrilege. Some of the orbs sit locked in a glass case now, but others we gave to museums. One resides in a private gallery, placed under light, where visitors marvel at the way it seems to shift color as they walk by. It looks like a pearl from another planet. And as for me, I keep one in a velvet pouch. Sometimes on quiet nights, I take it out and place it in my palm. It's warm, still, and if I listen closely, I can almost hear it hum. Not all diamonds are dug from deep beneath the earth. Some are born in fire, shaped by chaos and polished by silence. They aren't found in the usual places. They don't follow rules. But when the earth decides to speak, the diamond digger listens. Because after the volcanic eruption, golden ball crystals grow on the stone, and the world will never be quite the same again.